So today what I want to talk about is a methodology of treatment that I use to help people listen to their true selves and come back to their true selves. And I call it the SOUL Method. So I've really found on my own journey of spirituality a lot of frustration and trying to awaken to live from my truth. But I've also seen a lot of that frustration in a lot of other people. And a sense that no matter how much I've learned or healed or tried to change some things, that things just still feel off, like they're not really working for me. And I just never arrived at what I wanted. So I sort of maybe understood the patterns, I've read the books, and I've done the work, but something deeper always remained untouched and that I wasn't able to see through my own spiritual and psychology. But what I come to understand is that the issues weren't a lack of effort. It's not even a lack of awareness. It was that most approaches don't guide you all the way back to the truth of who you are. And that's why I created the SOUL Method. And it's a framework to help return to our true self and to live from that place. And soul stands for 5 core elements. So it's soul with 2 L's. So the elements are spirit, observing, understanding, light and love, and living. And each one builds on the other. Each one brings you closer to alignment. And together they form a complete path to living your truth and awakening. So I want to walk you through it. So the first one is spirit. The S for soul is spirit. So everything really begins here. So spirit is about reconnecting with our true self, or awakening to our true self. Not the identities we've built, not the roles we play, and not the thoughts we think we are, but the deeper awareness that exists beneath it all. That's a part of us that is constant. That's the part of us that observed. That's a part of us that's not disturbed even when our mind is. It's a part of peace. Most people are living from the surface of their experience, from our thought, from our ego, from our emotion and conditioning. But the truth is, these things aren't who we are. We're not our emotions or our thoughts. We're the awareness behind them. So through practices like meditation, breath work, self-inquiry, we can begin to reconnect with this deeper aspect of ourselves. And when we do, we stop trying to become someone else and begin remembering who we really are. And from this place of remembering, we can start to live the wisdom and well-being that comes with our connection to our true self or our spirit. And that then brings us to the second thing, the O, observing. So once we connect with our true self, the next step is observing. This is where we sit from the place of awareness and begin to witness the patterns of our conditioned mind. We begin to witness our fears, our reactions, our beliefs, our habits, our internal narratives. But the key here is how we do it. So we try to do it without judgment or without resistance. Not trying to change it, just being aware of it. And just seeing them clearly and compassionately the way that our spirit does, or our soul does. Because most of the time, we're not actually aware of what's driving us. We're inside of it, and these things are happening, and we are identified with it. So observing creates space. And in that space, we can begin to see that our patterns are not who we are. They're something we've learned, something we've adapted to assist in our survival. Things that happen without any conscious effort on our behalf. And once we understand what we can see, then we can try to understand them. And that takes us to number 3, understanding. So that's the U in the soul. So this is about getting to comprehend what our mind and emotions are actually trying to do for us. So instead of trying to get rid of our thoughts and emotions, we begin to understand them. We start to ask questions like, what is this trying to do for me? How is this trying to help or protect me? Because even the patterns that create struggle are not random. They were formed for a reason. Anxiety and worry might be trying to keep you safe. Control might be trying to create uncertainty. Avoidance might be trying to protect you from pain. Criticism might be trying to motivate you, but just in an unhelpful way. Ultimately, though, the ego of the mind is not bad. It's trying to help in an often misguided, habitual way. And when you see this clearly and understand your mind, you stop fighting yourself. You stop seeing parts of yourself as problems. And instead, you begin to relate to yourself with intelligence and compassion. This doesn't mean you stay stuck in those patterns. It means you no longer need to attack them in order to change them. And once you've done this, that's where we can bring the 4th step in, which is light and love. And this is the space for transformation. This is where we can begin to shift our perceptions into greater alignment with the truth, make them lighter. Not by forcing them, but by seeing more clearly, slowly over time. And in this, the beliefs that once felt really solid or hard begin to soften, and the stories we've carried start to loosen around us. And In this place, a lighter way of seeing things emerges. The light is our clarity. It's the truth without the distortion, and it's the ability to see yourself and your life without the weight of conditioning. And from that, love follows. Not as something you create, but as something that naturally arises when resistance falls away. So we often can begin to meet ourselves with compassion, fairness, and relate to ourselves and our experiences with openness, and to allow what is without needing to fight it. And in that space of loving, transformation exists, because self-loving particularly is the voice of the true self. And once we do all of those, then we can do the last L, which is living. And this is where everything comes together, because insight alone is not enough. Now, the final step is living in alignment with your true self, bringing what you've seen, what you've understood into your daily life, in your relationships, in your decisions, in how you respond to challenges. Living from intuition and truth rather than fear, from clarity rather than our conditioning, and from presence rather than the habits. This doesn't mean we become perfect, it just means we become aligned. We still experience thoughts, emotions, and difficult moments, but they no longer define us. You're no longer controlled by them. So instead, you're living from a deeper place, a place that is steady and peaceful no matter what's happening externally. So bringing it all together, the SOUL Method, or SOULL, is about not fixing yourself. It's more about returning to yourself, to who you truly are. Now, spirit reconnects you to and reminds you who you are.